Hey there, I'm Lauren. I'm back with part two of the 15 things you need before you post your job ad for your new team member for your law firm. So, today we're talking about the fit for your law firm, screening, and making sure that you find the right person. So, we're going to start off on number six, and you want to get clear on your firm culture and what criteria would make a candidate successful in your firm. Okay, so you want to know your values. These are things that you should have already probably done, but you just want to really look at how you work with team members, and you want to make sure that you can get in alignment with that. And you like, let me use an example. So if your client service or customer service, I don't call it customer service, if your client service is a priority for you, but you're hiring and you interview someone, they say, I don't like to speak to clients at all, ever. Well, that may not work because that's how you work. Or vice versa, if you are not hiring for a client facing role and that's a big thing for the candidate that you're interviewing, it's may not be a good fit because they're not going to get what they want and need out of the job, and long term it doesn't really work out, right? You want to avoid words that are, let's just say, illegal in your job description, like young and energetic. You don't want to say things in your post that can make it seem like you're discriminating. So something that I see quite often. People have good intentions, but they say it probably just the wrong way. So number seven is your screening method and process, right? So what are you going to do when you get the candidate in? Are you going to start with an interview? Are you going to do some sort of screening? Are there going to be written assessments, case studies? Do you want to see a writing sample? You want to make sure that you're super clear on exactly what it is that you want to see from a candidate before you bring them in for an interview, or if you would like to interview them first, that's fine, but just all the things that you're going to want to look at and how you're going to be grading those different things. I find it personally helpful to get all of that stuff done before you meet the person, because if they have a great personality, it's cool, but if they can't get the work done, then you've maybe wasted your time setting up time to interview with them. You want to avoid pre-offer background checks because that's illegal. And you'd also want to avoid salary history questions. In California, that's something that we're not supposed to ask about. So if they're within the range, asking for something within the range, and there doesn't appear to be anything on their background that aligns with that, then that would give you the closest answer that you could get without asking, and you can't ask. So there's that. All right. Number eight, pre-interview compliance checks. Ensure that your interview topics are appropriate. We're again talking about California law. You don't want to ask about their age, family, or medical history, which if they divulge that on their own, which I've even been in interviews and had candidates tell me on their own, well, currently I'm going through this, so I would not be available during these times. Um, that's fine, but you're not allowed to ask about those things. Or do you have children? And it seems friendly, but it's just an inappropriate question. And you want to consider ADA accommodations and considerations that you may have or need to give to a candidate, which is perfectly fine. And one that I like to make sure that I check is the CLE requirements. Make sure that at the time of hire they have their records, that they have their CLEs appropriately accomplished for the time period that you're hiring. It's really difficult to recoup time if you do a fee motion and the paralegal or associate does not have their CLEs done timely. This can be a huge issue and it will bite you in the butt later. And last but not least, make sure that they have all of their educational credentials that are not CLEs. So if they need to have a bachelor's degree, or that's how they're, or a JD, of course, or their license or whatever, make sure that they have documentation, all of those things. And avoid misclassification. There can be a lot of penalties if you misclassify an employee. Number nine, you want to have a decision-making rubric. I like to say certain areas will give a certain amount of points. So let's say you have, like, the resume gives a certain amount of points, the screening or assessments give a certain amount of points, the interview gives a certain amount of points, and maybe the references gives a certain amount of points. There's a range that can happen. And in this way, you can take it honestly without being biased, because we all have personal bias. You get in front of someone and you like them, and that's how you go. But sometimes it's not the best candidate for what you're looking for. So what you want to do is give yourself a rubric for a scale so that you can really assess if the candidate is exactly what you're looking for. And number 10, an onboarding plan. This is so important. When a new hire comes in your door, what happens that first day or two, let's just say the first week, is the most important. And this includes how you receive and announce that new hire, right? Um, I've seen firms do an all firm email. I've seen firms give like a specific type of a gift to the person when they come to the office, if that's what you do. I've seen, or send a gift to the home. I've seen emails to all the current clients announcing, the new hire, but you want to have something that really makes the new hire feel welcome, and it's very formulaic. You want to have a specific way that you do it. Be well thought out about it, and really welcome them with, open arms. But beyond that, there's so much more beyond that. The training schedule, if that's needed, even if that's, let's say you have a platform or an application that has its own pre-recorded videos, you just want to have a plan for these are the things that I'm going to need you to do to train on that first week. You want to have your tech already set up. You want to know, like, oh, did we need email addresses and accounts set up? You don't want to have them come in, the new hire come in and have to set those things up. It just feels like you're thrown into everything and it feels chaotic. So that's something you don't want to do. You also, for California, need your updated harassment training. Make sure that they get that in the first when they walk through the door. That's the easiest way to get it done. Um, and that's pretty much it. You just want to have a good idea of exactly what it is that you want to have for that first day. So I'll be back with a part 3 and a little added bonus. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.